All right. Good morning. Again, another show of Yes Way Jose. And I think we had on the last show that I got promoted not to celebrity host anymore.
Yeah, you're not celebrity
I
host
am
of all
the
times.
host.
I think that's, what was it? You called it the celebrity guest of all times. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think that's a thing.
So, again.
So now you're the host.
I guess really, I feel pretty good that I've moved up. Wasn't under a 90-day probation or something like that? Or is there something
like that. The logo for the show has said hosted by for
Jose.
this whole time.
Oh,
but I just didn't want to tell you that you weren't the guest.
Well, I kind of feel
he
pretty
was
good.
on probation for that Jesse Bacon episode or something. I don't know what he said.
It might have been, yeah.
Well, I try to make as many friends as I can. I'm not sure. Well, good morning, everybody. First of all, we want to tell you got a great guest with us this morning, but we're going to talk about that. But a couple of grocery items we always do. We have an email address, guys, that we'd like to share with everybody.
That's yeswayjosemail@gmail.com.
Bam! Nailed it.
We just need to get a soundboard so we can stop
We
doing
do.
that.
We just need to have
Hey,
we could.
You know what would be really good is, what's that, Living Color? Nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those two
He
guys?
does. He does not remember that. No.
No, but I mean, I get
Have you
it. I
not
understand.
seen In Living Color? I know you're like, what, 7?
18.
Yeah, barely. Oh, that maturity age. My bad.
Yeah. I know In Living Color.
See?
A little bit.
Remember that?
I was
And
little.
Homie Don't Play That?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember some of Jim Carrey's stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. We have a guy in the fire department, Sergeant Brown. He can do that, and it's really great. He can do the whole fireman bill.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
the voice, and
Yeah.
I mean everything is good. So, good morning, everybody. First of all, a lot of things happened. This is November the 8th.
8th, yeah.
Yeah, I had a granddaughter's birthday yesterday. Hazelbug turned
congratulations.
8 years old yesterday. So yeah, it's good. We're going to celebrate tomorrow. I always threaten her, we're going to take her to, like a Mexican restaurant, put whipped topping in her face. She said, no, Papa, we're not doing that.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Oh, is that a thing?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
yeah, we do that to everybody.
Like
but,
just you or like other? Is it like just a Jose thing?
no, it's really hey, what are you guys saying? No, listen, whipped topping in your face is a good thing.
We're not saying it's a bad thing.
No,
I just
no,
never
it's
heard
not
of
like-
it.
Just not torture.
On a birthday.
Okay, do you go to Mexican restaurants?
Not on my birthday.
Okay,
Yeah,
if, you go
no,
one,
no.
if you go one on your birthday.
That's what I'm saying. Do they
Say
do that
hi
on your
to
birthday?
them.
I'm saying like, is
okay.
it just a
Grab-
Jose thing or is it like?
We didn't know if it was like a Mexican restaurant thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Well, they don't do it at Red Lobster?
I don't think so.
They
I've never
just-
been to Red Lobster on my
Texas
birthday either. I don't know.
What do they do? I don't know.
I don't know. I
I don't
usually
think
go
I've
to
ever been
Pizza
there on my
Hut.
birthday.
I usually go to Pizza Hut.
For your birthday?
It's my favorite. Yeah,
That's your birthday?
I would always go to Pizza Hut because nobody else everybody in my family hated Pizza Hut, so I would make them go to Pizza Hut on my birthday. I'd be like, "We're going."
You sound like my daughter. My daughter has to go to certain places because she's so picky about food.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My birthday's the day after Christmas too, so it's weird.
Oh, yeah.
So it's awkward going to Pizza
Well,
Hut.
you need to get recognized. I think it's really cruel that birthdays are around Christmas.
Oh, I know it sucks.
All right. Anyway, good morning again. A lot of good things going on. First of all, we had an election. And first of all, I just want to say...
Who won?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. And we're excited about that because I think we sometimes get stuck up in personalities. His policies are good policies for America.
Yeah.
Hey, I like his personality more than hers too. Just for the
Well,
record.
that was an easy one too. Yeah. But I think for us, I think the biggest thing is that our country needs to be in the right direction. We have so many good things about this country that we all cherish, and they get skewed by the politics of things. And I'm just excited. I think the country is now back on a track, and I think it won't take him long. He's been there before. He's going to be on that ride. He's going to get things really going really fast. And so I'm excited that for the country. I'm also excited. We have local elections. We always talk about these local elections that for most of us, these are really important because of the decisions we make. A lot of things affect you daily. I mean, we have things that we have to adhere to from a federal and state level. But really, when it comes to local elections, people just kind of gloss over that. I get it.
A lot of people get obsessed about the big national elections, but the local elections a lot of times are what really affects your life more.
Yeah, it really matters, and obviously on both levels, both local and state. But I think for us, that was great. We had our food truck invasion, another good one, and I ordered the weather. You all remember what happens when the weather's bad. That's whose fault?
That's your wife.
Your wife's, yeah.
Okay, because that's how I order the good weather. If it's bad, it's on.
Yeah, it was great. Good job.
For the record, we did show up. It was
Yeah, we
just
were
late.
there. Yeah,
Oh,
we were.
It was after
we
you
were
left,
there.
I guess.
Yeah, I just didn't want to see you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I didn't want to see you guys. Anyway, so good morning. Listen, we have a great guest. We're going to get started here a little bit. But anyway, I'd like to introduce you. I'm going to just introduce his name. I'm going to let him do everything about himself. He's been around a long time. He's kind of a celebrity here in Bullitt County. But good morning, Tom Huff.
Well, good morning to you.
We're
It's a
glad to
pleasure
have you.
be here, yeah.
Absolutely have you. So what we want to do is usually with our guest, when we're not doing the waterboarding, we don't usually start out with that.
It's later in the show.
It's later in the show. And also, we don't use water. We use bourbon here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're not just going to use
Keeping the
water.
Kentucky
So we're
thing going.
going to bourbon board you. Can we say that like that?
Bourbon board.
I get it.
It's kind of a tongue twister.
So
but
anyway, good morning, Tom. Listen, tell everybody about yourself a little bit, give us some stuff, and then we'll just talk about things. Obviously, you are our state representative, and we're excited about that part. But good morning to you.
Well, good morning. It's a
So
pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Born and raised? Where you at?
Born and raised in Louisville.
Okay.
Actually, I've lived in Bullitt County since I was in high school. Graduated Bullitt Central.
Oh, okay. Bullitt Central grad. All right. And so how things evolved to the point now I know you've got a wonderful wife. Best part about you, Tom.
I hear that a lot in Frankfurt as well.
Do you hear that a lot in Frankfurt? All right. Well, she's a wonderful lady, and I know it's really good to know her. And a little bit about your family. So you have a business in the city, and we're excited for that. Talk to us about a little bit what's going on with your life, what you've been doing.
Well, we stay busy all the time. If I'm not at the car lot, I'm in Frankfurt. Work 6 days a week. Have since high school, basically.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I miss a lot of events on Saturdays. They have a lot of things going on, and I'm always at work on Saturday, so you can always catch me there then.
Yeah, I want you all to know that Tom Huff, this is your fourth term?
This will be my fourth.
Fourth term, and he was uncontested this year.
I was about to say, speaking of winning elections, he just won a tight one.
Okay.
I sweated a lot for this. Yeah. I did have a primary, however.
You did.
Oh, yeah.
And but I thought you did well there. And I think, I guess most people would say, I think a lot of people know you, Tom. Just do your local business here and what you've been with your family and graduating from here, and obviously being our representative now for the fourth term. And we're excited to have you. I think you are a guy that's committed to this community. I think you represent us well. I'd like you to tell them a little bit about maybe what that experience is in Frankfurt and what are some of your focuses with what you're looking to do in this upcoming year.
Okay, well, one of my primary focuses has always been lowering taxes, fighting tax increases, that type thing. When I took office, we were at 6% income tax, state income tax. We're at 4% now. And we're going to be at 3.5% in January.
I think that's outstanding.
When we're going to get to 0?
Probably
like Tennessee.
Probably the first vote we'll take will be to lower to 3.5%.
I think that's awesome because a lot of people don't understand that state tax is out there, but the consumption piece is we're still not losing dollars. People they think when you lower you're missing out, but it's just redistributed. I mean, without getting too much in the weeds, but
yeah, in a way it is. On the consumption tax, a lot of the things are optional. So like, if you have your dog groomed, if you have your grass cut, that type thing. If you don't own a dog, if you wash it yourself or whatever, do that type thing, cut your own grass, you're just gaining all the way around.
I want everybody to know the mayor still cuts his own grass and trims and do all the landscape work. I just need to make sure
your wife doesn't do it?
Well, she's good. No, she's a help. I'm the supervisor, but I'm actually doing a lot of work, but she's great help there. But anyway, I do think some things like that do matter. But you've been up there now 6 years, and you're starting your 7th year at Frankfurt. What is it you see that you'd like to see for Bullitt County? Because, when people talk about going to Frankfurt, what's the focus that you would like to have? I mean, lowering taxes is always a benefit. But what
keep
would be,
doing that.
Yeah, we want to encourage you to keep
support.
Yeah. So I think, what are some of your focuses? What do you want people to know? When they listen to this podcast, we try to tell everybody, hey, listen, because they're going to get some information and maybe something that you can tell them on this podcast about what you're focused on. So what would that be?
So specifically, Bullitt County, a lot of it would be infrastructure.
Yeah.
Widening roads. We need all kinds of improvements. I'm always working toward that. In the last session, I got record funding for Bullitt County roads.
Well, good. Oh, absolutely.
Literally record, higher than anyone has ever got. The worst thing about that is it's a slow process. But it's coming.
Yeah, what do they say? It's on the agenda first until the money's actually allocated to it.
The money is actually allocated
this time. So this is better. This is better.
We're in the 2-year budget. Yeah, right. Yeah.
This is the real money, not the
theoretical
pie in the sky.
Yeah, pie in the sky, theoretical. Yeah. Not at all. This is real funds.
I think that you've seen everything, and we always remind everybody everything on Facebook is real.
Yeah, of course,
and it's truthful.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but every once in a while, when you peel it all back and you look for the real truth. We do know people are very upset about some of the traffic, and we see the accidents on 65 and what it does to our communities. I know as the mayor, I'd love to see an interchange at 119, and sure would like to see 61 south of the river 4 lanes, which I think that's in the conversations, but long-term conversations. And obviously, the big prize would be another bridge over 480 to 44 to Bells Mill to Preston to Gene Snyder. So we all know that's out there. There's money. I mean, it's a lot of money, but we have to always approach it differently, and it's not just a Bullitt County issue. So, I don't know where those conversations are, Tom, but what are they at? Are they on the radar, at least in conversation? What do you hear when you're talking to some of these folks?
absolutely in conversation. Now that's not an immediate thing. I wish it was. I'm doing everything I can to make it happen.
Sure. And I want people to understand you represent us, but you don't control things in Frankfort. You just have to persuade a number of people to get on that train.
Right, yeah. And he's just one of how many? How many is there in the legislature?
100 in the House, 38 in the Senate.
Yeah,
so you're one of 138 people trying to find money for their communities.
Right,
so,
So everybody else is trying to build a bridge too.
I know. So I want everybody to understand that. I think it's just more about getting that voice out there and keep talking about it, because we see the development of Bullitt County. You know, and we know that there's a lot of conversation about what we're going to be doing in the next 5-10 years. We're on the radar, guys. Bullitt County is on the move. And
absolutely.
You would know that because obviously you hear that a lot. But I think the biggest thing is infrastructure is a big deal. Any other topics that you think that people would want to know? I mean, we obviously know we're looking for more roads, better bypasses, and maybe expansion of lanes. I mean, there's talk about 4 lanes on 65. That's probably a 10 to 20 year project, but that's a reality. It's going to happen. It's going to have to happen with all the traffic on 65. So, what are the things do you guys talk about? What do you think is important? And your comrades, you got Peyton Griffey with you, you got Mike Nemus with you. You got Emily Calloway, and she won a tight race, but she really pulled it away. But I saw her last night, so congrats. We got people that really are going to be rooting for us. What do you think that? What do you want to talk about? What do you would like to see the conversation go to?
You mean besides infrastructure?
Absolutely.
There's a couple of things that I'd really wanted to get done that I have. Our constitutional carry. When I first ran, it was the Second Amendment was a big thing. We always have red flag laws that are popping up. I'm always fighting those.
I remember that. Some of the conversations I've seen you. That's a big deal for everybody because Bullitt County, we have guns.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
We have guns. I like that. Anyway,
I remember when that passed. I thought that was kind of cool. That it was just you didn't have it was just constitutional carry. I was like, yeah, that's kind of how it should be. It says it in the Constitution right there. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it, you're like, yeah, duh.
Well, now interstate travel with your firearm, you still need to get the concealed carry permit.
Oh, okay.
Depending on which state you go in.
Okay.
But in Kentucky, it's officially okay.
Yeah.
So
and I do.
That was a proud moment. Go ahead.
I think the thing you're right about is that if you don't stop some of that, you open the Pandora's box. If they start regulating just a little bit of it, then they start regulating more. And then 10 years from now, they've really restricted to what you can actually do as far as your own weapons. And I think that's really, for most states like Kentucky, that's something very important to us. And I think that if you go back in history, it wasn't about the whole idea was we didn't trust our government back then.
That's exactly.
I think that people need to be reminded we still have some of these concerns with our federal government and what goes on. And I think for a lot of people, I think even though it's for us here, it's important. But I hope the country realizes how important that Second Amendment is to us, and sometimes it's forgotten, and unfortunately. But I think we didn't forget about it because you actually made a big. What else did you work on, or would you like to work on in Frankfort?
Well, again, to me the big thing right now is eliminating the income tax. I hate to keep coming back to it, but that's really a priority. Just about every year I've filed bills that would eliminate or lower taxes without raising or raise income without raising people's taxes.
We always look at this show trying to be really really on the edge. We could do some stuff real quick that could be talked about. And I don't want to get too much into it. I do want to talk about the medical marijuana. Okay. What do you think? What's your opinion? Because I have my opinions, and it's kind of like when it comes to somebody's quality of life. I try to be very careful with that. When I'm not a person that says somebody that's in real pain, what do we want to do to ease that? And so everybody has their thoughts. And, with it being now part of the state, I'm curious, what are your thoughts about that?
I was a co-sponsor on that, actually for several years until we finally got it passed.
Yeah.
But I'm all for the medical aspect of it. I have my daughter-in-law actually has a friend that had to go out of state to get the cannabis. Their child had seizures. And it actually worked. I mean, it just solved the issue.
So I think that's
and I shouldn't have gotten maybe too specific, but
no, that's okay.
They actually had to go out of state to get it.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. I think Tom, that's a great comment to bring up because a lot of times some of these things don't matter to folks until it touches them.
Right.
And you just showed us now something that it's a part of your family, and I think that's a big deal. I mean, like I said before, I honestly know that a lot of people know you. You're very, very involved in this community. They like you. And for them to know that this aspect and this legislation that was passed, through the state is going to help a lot of folks. And if we keep that kind of attitude, I think that's what we want to do when it comes to things like this. I don't want to get too much into this one. This one's going to be a little touchier than number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and I want to make sure that people really, truly understand. And I think I was in a meeting last night and we were talking about it. I think the message was not maybe as clear to the folks that voted no. I know that we have a big teachers union in Kentucky, a lot of good people there. We know even our local community.
I have an interesting story about that. I woke up the other morning. I had put a post on Facebook about Amendment 2. And the lady said, she said, I'm not going to argue about it with you anymore. And all this. And I replied, I said, I didn't know we were arguing. I said, vote no. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I never expected to pass.
Yeah.
I can obviously see the benefit from certain parts of it, but any constitutional amendment is always a long shot.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Amendment 1 passed.
Yeah. I think from our standpoint, and I want people to know about the education piece, I think the message sounds sometimes like we don't appreciate the people that are currently doing our public education. And that's not the message we want. We don't always know the budgetary process of inside, just like a lot of people don't know what's going on in the city. They don't know all those numbers until they know them. I think the biggest thing is we want to be able to say, hey, as a community, would we like to see a better challenge in some of the byproducts of our kids coming out of school? Yes. Do we want to see the experiences on the buses in the classroom a better, more controlled environment? Yes. We know those things. Those are the obvious in that. I don't know where the middle ground is. And for anybody listening to this podcast, I just have such a close connection to our Bullitt County system and Jesse Bacon, and I consider him a friend. And I consider they're working on some wonderful programs for kids. So I think it's really important that maybe there's between the public and the system itself, let's sit down and talk. Maybe there's some things within that conversation. It's not arguing. It's trying to work together, right? It's trying to find out. We all care about our kids. I think that's what our own kids, our grandkids. But we do want to take this topic and maybe expand it a little bit more. Let's get out in school. Let's have these conversations. And I think that's where we're at, Tom. I think a lot of expectations, I don't know where I thought it was going to go. I didn't know that it was going to pass. I don't think it was. But I think the message should still be a conversation. Where is that conversation today? And continue to make sure that we get our kids ready to go. Because my thing is, we always say it, and we really need to mean it. Kids are our future.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Kids and grandkids. So we got to be on that top. And so, some of these conversations will be, tricky for folks. I always try to find out what's real. And what's real is somewhere in the middle of what we can do as a community, working with our current system to make it better for kids. And when you support that first, now if there's somewhere along the line, because what happens sometimes is people feel like between the private and parochial schools that that's only for certain segments of our community. Right? Yeah. It's like if you got money, you can do anything you want with the kids. Well, we've got money within the school system. Let's work to make sure that's invested correctly. It doesn't mean that they're not doing a lot of good things. It means that there could still be some opportunity. So I know that's a topic. That was a sensitive one. I think really for the elections, Tom, I think we, if we're looking back at the federal level, we got the Senate. I don't even. I didn't check yesterday. What was the final numbers on the House?
I don't think they have the final numbers.
They're
yet,
still working on it.
Arizona, they've takes them about 3 weeks to count votes.
Yeah. So. They take a little longer out there.
They take a long time. I don't know what they're doing over there.
So that's critical too. I mean, the process. If the Republicans take that, it changes the dynamics of where the negotiation process is, right? Because it's always about if you got one majority in one, they're going to say, well, you want this, I want this, and that's the process.
We're still doing pretty good. We got the executive branch and the upper house. So,
that's a good.
And we expect to get the House too.
Yeah. So this is another year with Governor Beshear. I want to get back into the state a little bit because I think the biggest thing that has to happen after elections are over, we need to find ways to make sure that it's all about Kentucky, right? And I think that you are all about Bullitt County. You are our voice, as well as the other representatives we have. But I think it's important for you guys to just keep us letting them know what we're doing. I think you do a good job. You come to a lot of venues. And I want to encourage all of after the election's over with, to continue to come back, give us updates, Tom. I think the biggest thing that I would like to see, we talked about the infrastructure piece, but I really need to think that if we're going to continue to be this logistics piece in the city of Shepherdsville with being 15 minutes from the airport and, obviously with the interstate running right through us. And how many cars does that go through there?
Oh, I don't remember. It was a lot.
It was a lot. 600,000 cars a day. You remember there were 3 things I was going to say. I haven't brought up the one yet.
What?
Did I bring it up already?
What are you talking about?
You guys know 600,000 cars. The aquatic center.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, your
See,
usuals,
I haven't brought Tom.
I thought you were saying there was like some things that you were going to bring up today. I was like, oh no, that's every day.
No. So Tom, just a running joke on this podcast is that we bring up the aquatic center every time, and we do that because we want people to get excited about it. It's got some foundation now, and everybody's going to get excited. So we want to make sure that it's not just for Shepherdsville and Bullitt County. It's a regional aspect of it, and we want people to believe that Shepherdsville is a good town to be in, and Bullitt County is a great community to come into. Bigger cities. Kind of going back a little to I don't want to get too much into the education piece. Bigger cities, you see kind of that looking for alternatives for some lower end communities. They're looking for options to where their education is for some of their kids. That's where I think this is where it gets rooted. I think the same thing with a lot of folks. It's not that we don't like big cities, but with the congestion and traffic and the taxes and some of the criminal activities, Bullitt County could be that community you can live in. And so we're going to keep doing that. I know that I've said also, too, we always put a sign on I-65, we're open for business.
Yeah.
We are. We're open for business. We're open for housing. That's our new opportunity. And I don't know the piece on housing from a state level, but I know that if we're going to continue to grow in Bullitt County, housing's got to be a big part of that. We know we're going to get the warehouses. We're going to see some new business here. We're going to see retail business coming here. I hope that you hear good things about us and hear about Shepherdsville and Bullitt County up there. You should be very proud. I think that we've come a long way in about 10 years.
Yeah, they don't want to say anything negative about Bullitt County and the capital, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think we're on our way for a lot of things. Tom, is there anything you'd like to add? I mean, obviously, I've seen you at different venues. I think you're always committed to being with everybody. What would you like the people to know on this podcast about you? What you're doing? What do you want them to know if they don't know anything about you?
Well, if they follow me on Facebook, they pretty much, there's not a whole lot they don't know.
No. So
I try to be very transparent, let people know what's going on, try to be available.
Yeah. He's a Facebook fiend.
Yeah, I see him on there.
Yeah, he's on there all the time, man. He works it, baby. He's like, he ought to have like a 21st century, like have a screen right in front of you. You just talk to it and it just types everything out for you.
He just needs a voice to text all your Facebook. Just go around like, this is what I think today.
That would be cool. So, I don't know if he's in that kind of technology. I think he's old school like me.
I'm pretty old school.
Yeah, I'm old school too.
Probably why I'm on Facebook, not some of the others. But.
Social, we joke a lot about it. We actually talk about Facebook here. What we'd like people to do, and I think you do some of it. You try to respond to some things out there to let people know what's real and what's not. I mean, I get it. People get frustrated and then they just say what they want to say. But you can get so much more done just reaching out to Tom Huff or reaching out to Jose Cabero or any of your representatives to find out what's going on.
I saw a new Facts Not Facebook thing on there the other day. I don't know if you know anything about it.
Throw it out there.
They were mentioning you though, so I figured I'd ask.
About the Kings Lake?
Is that the smell?
Oh no, that was
some people are talking about a smell that happens like every night, and I was like, "What?" And I was like confused. I was like,
so Tom,
but they were tagging you in it, so I figured I'd ask.
Yeah, did you not?
I think a lot of it was the lack of rain.
It was the lack of rain, but there was actually a burning that was going on around the Mallard Lake area.
Oh, okay.
That we found out. We actually took our fire department out there to check it out, and we actually had to take the guy's permit away from burning.
Oh.
So again, we want people to know.
Somebody out there was burning.
Yes, it wasn't part of the city. I mean, obviously we have a wastewater treatment plant that could happen, especially that would happen more during rain. When it rains, it doesn't actually get to filter through the process. That's why we concern ourselves with not just the drainage issues as far as trafficking, but when that water gets into the sewer system, it changes the dynamic of the operation. So that was a big deal. And then there's things that people need to understand, Tom, and you know this. There are roads that are state roads, that are county roads, interstate, and then there's city roads. And we're going to try to keep educating people because it is difficult. I know a lot of people, I would probably think 75% of people don't always know every road and who takes care of it.
I was just thinking we just need to get signs on the side of the roads and be like, this is a state road.
And this is a city road. What do you think, Tom? Can you get some allocation for signs?
I don't know about that, but all the state roads are always numbered.
That's
true. Yeah,
so when you got a number on it, it's a state road. So,
see, that's a teachable moment, Tom. You just told everybody on the podcast something that they can be looking for, and there is actually we have so much information we can get. Right? You can Google anything. You can find out within your
much.
county.
Too much sometimes.
Sometimes. But I would rather you do that than give me your personal feeling.
That's true.
Yeah, because you know how I feel about feelings and opinions. It's nice.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Facts,
Good
facts
for
matter.
you. Yeah.
Facts matter, Tom. And I know that you deal with that, but I think you're very cordial. You try to address everything. I don't think you run from anything. And I don't mean that in a bad way, in the sense of, I think politicians, elected officials, I think need to understand that we are trying to answer your questions, but come to us in a professional, in a positive way. We're gonna help. We didn't decide to do this to shun away from taking care of problems.
Absolutely.
You've been doing this and you've seen it, and people will say things to you. I've seen you in a couple of difficult situations. I thought you handled really well. When somebody's really concerned or really upset about something, we got to stay calm, and we'll try to give you the best answer. And if we don't have an answer, we'll find an answer, right? You've had to do that before. I know I've had to. If I didn't know something, we'll get that answer for you. Well, Tom, I tell you what, buddy, I'm glad to have you on. And what I'd like to do is we're taking everybody that's on the show, and we're going to reschedule you guys. So sometime next year around Thanksgiving, I'd like to have you back on and what you're working on, and talk about what you're doing in the community. You got any deals on cars right now, Tom?
Absolutely.
See, you got to go see Tom.
This is a little bit of a slow time of the year around Thanksgiving. So
See?
Not a lot of people buying them for Christmas presents.
Oh, I wish. I don't see that so often.
That's just in the movies with the big bow on the car and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right now, we're stocking up for tax refund time. It's our
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
busiest time of the year. And
It
of course,
is.
And of course, I'm in session during that time. It's also the funnest time of the year. It's so exciting and so many things going on.
Sure.
But right now, it's a little slow. So if you need a deal on a good 4-wheel drive,
There
or
you
something,
go. See?
right before winter, now is the time.
Yeah. And I know most people know your address. What's that address that's there for Tom
It's
Huff?
1668 West Highway 44.
Yeah, you guys, everybody's been.
That's a numbered road.
It's
Numbered
a,
road, yeah.
It's a numbered
Yeah.
road.
I was going to say, just go west on
State highway.
44 and you'll see it.
No, listen, Tom. First of all, thank you for being here. And listen, I know you're committed to the community. You got a wonderful family, especially I know Jean, and she's a wonderful lady. And I think that you guys, I'm excited for us as a community, a county. I think we're going to do really well. And I think that people need to keep an eye on us, because I think we want to be one of those top 5 counties out of the 120 that we have.
Yeah, we've got a lot of counties.
We do, and that's another conversation down the road. I'll tell you about that. but I do think that you've represented us well, and I'm glad to see you back in there, and you're going to keep doing it and keep plugging away. Thank you for being on the show. Now, Tom, we have one thing that we do at every show. I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast, but at the end of every podcast, I make our guest with our staff and Jose. We go 1, 2, 3, love, peace, chicken grease. Are you ready for that, Tom?
I'm ready.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Love, peace, chicken grease. Thank you, Tom. Have a great day.
All right, you too.